When Donald Trump announced that the United States had fired Tomahawk missiles at a Syrian airbase, he claimed a moral and legal authority.
It is in this vital national security interest of the United States to prevent and deter the spread and use of deadly chemical weapons.
A chemical attack is a clear violation of international law, but so too is an attack on another country, unless it's for defensive purposes. The US claims a defensive purpose in attacking ISIL in Syria and Iraq, but it isn't being threatened by the Syrian government of President Bashar al-Assad.
While on the one hand you may be upholding or fighting for the prohibition on chemical weapons, but on the other hand, the prohibition in the UN Charter on the use of force serves really important humanitarian interests as well.
US Defense Secretary James Mattis echoed the wording used by President Trump to justify the attacks.
On 6 April, the President directed military action consistent with our vital national interest to deter the use of chemical weapons.
Both President George W. Bush and President Obama claimed similar broad authority to take action that was more limited in scope than a war that would require the US Congress to authorize.
In the national interest is a pretty broad, vague term, and there are all sorts of actions that could fall within that category. So I think, again, as I said earlier, that sort of most legal experts would say that the president has power to act defensively. So, again, if the U.S. is under attack, or to protect U.S. nationals abroad, for instance, but not just sort of to use military force just because it's in U.S. interest to do so.
So given that President Trump is asserting moral authority to prevent the further use of chemical weapons, there's unlikely to be a legal challenge to an assertion of authority that continues to expand the powers of the presidency. Daniel Renches, CGTN, Washington.